Welcome to the planet.
Greetings, family. What goes on? It's your buddy Mike here live on YouTube. Just wanted to do this impromptu live stream. I have got some new equipment. I also got a little bit of a new echo here in the house, but I'm trying this new thing called Lightstream. And the beauty of it, if you know anything about streaming, is ideally what it's going to do is it's going to allow me to do multiple scenes. And it's going to allow me to have the chat window open here, which could be really, really awesome. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully having that up there as well. The chat window from YouTube and the chat window from Facebook, I think ideally will show up. So with any luck, this will work. But for the most part, this was not planned or anything, and it's also 3 a.m. on the 3 a.m. on the East Coast, and so that means it's midnight on the West Coast. So with any luck, none of you are awake. But what I will do is I'll share this on YouTube, and I will also share it on Facebook. So that'll be kind of cool. So the folks, if you want, you can join in. So that'll be kind of neat. So that's kind of cool. If anyone has any desire to chat along in, that'll be kind of neat. And what I'm not totally clear on is what's going to happen to the chats from Facebook. I don't think they're going to be embedded in the stream, which is kind of a drag. Because I really kind of like that about OBS, which is Open Broadcast Studio. But anyway, as you might guess, one of the sort of common topics that is come up because I live over here, right, is, oh my God, Mike, are you feeling sick? You know, that sort of thing. And no, I'm not. And the good news is that the way that sort of the Thai government, if you will, as well as sort of like public transportation and that sort of thing, the way that they're sort of letting people know about it, and the way that it's being displayed on like public transportation is pretty cool because they are saying, look, if you're sick or you think you're sick, then wear a mask. Right? Not just like wear a mask because you're supposed to wear a mask. So I've been really pretty psyched about that. So anyway, so what I'm trying right now is Go Lightstream, golightstream.com. So if any of you are into the streaming thing, you might want to give this one a shot. It's actually pretty cool. I found out about it, believe it or not, from the support guys over at REEEEEALLY. And what's in the background here is what's off to my right, which is simply a picture of our pool that's below us. And then I'm also trying a few things down below here, which is why there was sort of that space, because I was going to say, be like, okay, so there's the possibility that I can get like a kind of a ticker thing down at the bottom. So I thought, all right, well, fine, I'll give that a shot. I'll try that out and see what that looks like. But it doesn't really matter. The bottom line is what I wanted to do is I just wanted to really see if this worked, and I wanted to also see if I could possibly see the comments in here. So hold on one second and let me check out. If I go to this, then ideally on the right, what I can do is that I can see the, hey, how about museums? So that's a great question. Because I haven't, and I apologize, I didn't see your chat earlier. And I wonder if I can, if I went, pop out chat. Let me see. Oh, sweet. Okay, so cool. So now what I have is I have just the window for the chats. All right, awesome. So now I'm mildly technically competent. I hope you meant attitude. If not, that's fine. Yeah, so museums. So we haven't been to a ton of them. So I can't really speak to all of that. But what I will tell you is that when I'm out and about, when Gracie and I are out and about and we're doing, like public transportation, or we're walking on the street, or we're in a cab or something like that. If you don't know, I mean, it's pretty common for people over here in Southeast Asia to have masks. Like they're going to wear them when they're on their bikes, motorbikes. They're going to wear them when they're walking around. There's just a lot more of it now, but by no means is everyone wearing one. So it's kind of cool. I don't think that the general public is overreacting, which is good. One of the things that really disappointed me was I saw an article in the Bangkok Times, or the Bangkok Post. My God, the Bangkok Post. And it was a little bit sort of fear-based, which kind of bothered me. And it was about like the people that were hoarding food or hoarding items. And then they had a shot of this aisle and some blank shelves, some empty shelf, this one empty shelf. In Tesco Lotus, which is basically the Asian flu is indeed an old problem. And actually, I didn't realize this. Maybe you guys already knew this, but the way that we get the flu shot, the way that they figure out the strain of flu to produce the shot from, is from the flus that are occurring in Asia. And then they make the flu shot and then they give it to us over in the US. I don't know whether that's where flu shots originate from for other countries, but in my last flu shot, I wondered about that, or 2 flu shots ago, and then I asked my doctor. I said, "So, given that, like, presumably, if I get this flu shot here in San Diego, I'm going to be even safer when I go over to Asia, right?" And he said, "Well, look, the flu shot is like 64% effective or whatever, so yeah, you're going to be safer." But I mean, I don't know if you're going to be safer in Asia, because I can tell you right now, as far as I know, most Thais don't get a flu shot, as far as I know. Again, I can be totally ignorant to that, but I'm not completely sure. But the point is that I just wanted to kind of talk about the fact that there is no overreaction that I am experiencing, that I am seeing. Keep in mind that I do not pay a whole lot of attention to the news. I have sort of made the executive decision a while ago that I'm not going to pay attention to the news, because I heard this one guy call CNN. He says, "Well, you know what that stands for?" And I'm like, "Okay, what?" Here it comes, right? And he says, "The Constant Negative News Network," right? And I said, "Okay, yeah, that's cute." But you could argue that that's partially true. So anyway, I will say that a lot of the news that I get on that I have heard before on CNN, I trust. A lot of the news that I have heard on Fox, 50%. But again, I haven't watched the news in a while, and I don't get my news from Facebook. I don't get my news from the Wall Street Journal anymore. For the most part, I was getting my news from Wall Street Journal because for me, the majority of the stuff that I was interested in was business and in investing and that sort of thing, and sort of where the entrepreneurial spirit and the startup ecosystems were really sort of emerging in any sort of given market at any given time. So for the most part, for me, it was Wall Street Journal. But anyway, so I'm not quite sure where all you guys get your news, but in my experience, getting it from social media has never been a really accurate thing. But yeah, so thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Songkran and Bike Week Phuket are canceled for now, is the report from Caesarillion. So thank you very much. Songkran Phuket. Okay. Oh, did you get that from, what is it? Is it the Phuket News, or is it Phuket Times down there? I can't remember which one. But there's another guy here on YouTube, Ben from that legal I can't remember exactly his channel, but anyway, there's this attorney there. Oh, Tyvisa. Okay, yeah. Tyvisa's gotten a little bit more accurate with their data. I've also noticed that a lot of the posts sort of once there's an answer to it, once there's data on it, then they'll close the thread, which I thought was sort of interesting. Because if you know anything, if you have any historical experience with Tyvisa, then you probably know. Oh, cool. Yeah, me too. I'm over here near True Digital Park. I'm not sure where you are, but so hello, Bangkok. No wonder you're awake. It's 3 p.m. You're probably like, dude, are you working right now, or are you just like chilling out? We were gonna go outside, but it's a little hot right now. So that's 3, arguably the hottest part of the day. So probably will. The mayor made the announcement. Okay, good enough. And let me just refresh Facebook. I'm not quite sure if anyone's watching over there or if anyone's commenting over there. The good news is that for Facebook is basically all I did is I posted my link. And so with any luck, everyone will come over here and start chatting on YouTube, which is kind of a more single point of success, really, if you think about it. I have tried a couple of these streaming deals where basically you stream to multiple platforms. The discussion around that is that the platforms don't particularly like you streaming on anything but them. So Instagram only wants you doing them, and everyone talks about it in their terms of service. YouTube apparently is fairly cool with you doing YouTube and Facebook. Facebook is only mildly okay with you doing it on there. So, but yeah, Bike Week was a big thing. I remember. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that was the initiative that was started by the king, right? The late king, King Bhumibol. And I started seeing those people bike with dad, right? Or was Bike Week already going on, and then those T-shirts just sort of came out to promote it? I'm not quite sure how that occurred, but I do remember I was in Thailand when those shirts first came out. I want to say yellow, light blue is usually the, anyway, yeah, not sure. But yeah, I'll tell you though, right now I'm looking out the window and there's blue sky and there's good quality air, in Bangkok right now. Again, that has nothing to do with the reason, of course, that they're canceling these things. I get that. Bike with Dad was bicycles. Yeah. Agree. Yeah, and I think that was just sort of based on, hey, let's get the Thai people the opportunity to get healthier, presumably, by riding bikes. But you could argue that riding your bike in Bangkok is not necessarily potentially healthier. Over 10 years old. Okay, yeah. Well, then Bike Week is definitely older than those shirts, as far as I know. But so anyway, so where we're at, for the most part, the way that we've designed our lives is to take BTS to go everywhere, and MRT. What I've noticed is that in the BTS, they have additional announcements, right? Saying, hey, use the hand sanitizer and wear a mask. Whereas in the MRT, which is the subway system here, if you don't know, Harleys, got it. Sorry, when I see the word bike, I think bicycle. So sorry about that. And then motorbike was a new word for me when I came over here, because I would refer to that as a motorcycle. But yeah, so got it. Okay, Bike Week, Phuket. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal in San Diego. They have big bike deals. And they also have these things they called poker runs, where the guys would basically have, you would sort of play poker as you were like driving your vehicle from point A to point B. And they also had those down in the Baja. Actually, when I had my house down in San Felipe, I remember when guys would have their off-road vehicles, their sand rails, as they used to refer to them, and their quads and that sort of thing. And then they used to have these poker runs. A lot of times they would do it to sort of raise money. I don't know if the Bike Week in Phuket was to sort of raise money for orphanages or for children or something like that. In San Diego, they also used to do it. They used to have like Harley rides and things. And then the Marines would they would get donations and toys for tots for underprivileged kids for around Christmas time. So not sure if it was a similar thing in Phuket, but Anyway, so the contrast between the MRT and the BTS was that the MRT they announced that, hey, so if you're down here and you have a cold or you are feeling sick, please wear a mask, which is, at least from what I'm reading from doctors that are published on, locations that I trust, like Forbes and not necessarily WebMD, but articles that I find to be credible. It seems like there's a lot of doctors discussing the fact that the mask is not necessarily going to help you. Now, you could argue that if there's a piece of fabric, if there's a barrier keeping you from hands that you have not washed, keeping you from touching your face, well, then maybe that does help. But in any case, I'm here to report that is not the only thing happening in Thailand, which is nice. It's also not arguably the only thing happening in the world right now, but it is top news, and so I get it. But the good news for Gracie and I is that it's not going to really stop us from traveling in Thailand. I don't necessarily believe it would be unsafe for us to travel outside of Thailand to some locations. But what I'm pretty confident of is that if we go somewhere, coming back in, they would, arguably question where we were, who we interfaced with, and that sort of thing, which is totally fair. Along the lines of, hey, have you been somewhere where you're bringing a disease back in, right? And, honestly, before any of this started happening, it was sort of that way when you would even transit through Taipei, was my experience. And so that was, it was fairly common for them to use those guns to take your temperature when you were walking through Taipei. Which is, you could argue that that's probably a good idea. They're an island. And I see that 3 people are watching. Hello and thank you. I really appreciate it. If you could give me a thumbs up, that'd be great. If you could share this, that would be great. I have 700 or so subscribers, and I'm not begging for anything, but what I've realized, if you don't know, that if you don't have 1,000 subscribers, there are a lot of features inside of YouTube that you can't use. So because I'm not part of the cool kids table, I can't do a couple of other things that I would really like to do, not the least of which is multiple cameras. But I'm trying this thing, and this seems to be okay. And it's Lightstream, and I like it. It's within a browser, and so it looks like this is going to be a pretty good solution because I don't really want to have to buy another laptop. I can edit and do things that I want to now good enough for the editing that I'm doing, but the live streaming, I absolutely... yeah, me too. It'll be nice to be sitting at the cool kids table one day. But that's cool. If any of you have ever heard, any of my other, statements on here about the number of subscribers I have, I'm actually I'm quite okay with it actually, because I feel like the subs that I do have, we interact and we, respect each other. There's one guy, and Doctor, right? He and I occasionally will get into it. He's opinionated, but his opinions are very valid, and so I really appreciate his comments on my channel. But every now and then, it seems like we really go back and forth, and it's like, no, I'm right, but that's cool, right? But it's my channel, so I'm kind of like, yeah, you're right, I appreciate your opinion. So anyway, but yeah, me too. It would be cool to be at the cool kids table. Anyway, back to travel. So what Gracie and I are going to do Sunday, actually, is we're going to go down to Koh Chang. If you guys don't know, and I only recently discovered it, it can be labeled as a couple of things. One is an island that nobody knows about. The second is the closest island to Bangkok. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to Sriracha, and then basically from that port take the ferry over to Koh Chang, And we're going there on Sunday. We're arriving on Sunday. Couple of reasons. One is that the ferries that go over to the island happen once an hour on the weekends. And the ferries during the week happen every 2 hours. So if we were to time it incorrectly and get down there, there's a possibility that we would have to wait at the ferry landing for, up to 2 hours, right, for the next boat. So this way, yeah, thank you very much for that. And I appreciate the fact that you say it's a nice day trip. Yeah, I'm going to stay over there a couple of nights because, I got a hotel through some points and discounts that I had on Agoda. And so the first night's like $14 and the second, or 500 baht, 540 baht. I think I'm paying for the first night, and it's air conditioned and it's a bungalow, and that's cool. And you can basically walk to it right from the pier. But yeah, and we're absolutely going to rent a scooter. I get really excited when Gracie and I go to places in Thailand where I feel very comfortable driving a scooter. I do not feel comfortable driving a scooter in Bangkok. But I'm definitely going to rent a scooter when we go to Koh Chang. And I'll tell you, there's not a whole lot of videos on YouTube about people going there. So I'm looking forward to the exploring we're going to do over there. I really miss Cha Am because we had a bike down there because you basically have to have a bike, whereas around here you don't need one. You can walk around. Caesarillion says, I love those beach trips and seeing the weather and seeing the cheap thrills and food around Thailand. Me too, me three, absolutely. I completely agree with that. So that's cool. It sounds like I got two thumbs up from you guys, along with Gouging Cool Goods. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So I'll just call the first guy Caesar and the other guy Goods. How's that? But yeah, anyway, no, so seriously, thank you. I appreciate the sort of acknowledgement of that. I'm really pleased that you didn't say something like, oh, Mike, you're such an idiot. Only the Farang go there. It looks to me like the majority of the people that go there are Thais, which I'm very much looking forward to. Because my hope is that, what I'm going to be able to do is, chill out, but also not be inundated with a whole lot of tourists. And so what I was actually hoping, that my chat box from Streamlabs was going to be displaying these chats in the output. And it does look like it is, but what I wasn't able to see those inside of, well, that really bums me out because I thought it was going to take up like the whole screen. And so for some reason, it doesn't seem like it's going all the way up. I actually would prefer if it did that, but that's cool. I just looked at the stream output, and so it looks like the stream is in fact being thrown up on the screen. So that's awesome. So I'm really pleased with that. So thank you to Streamlabs. If you guys don't know, that's who actually that's the reason that those chats are up there. I'm going to raise it a little bit here and change it so that they show up correctly. But yeah, that's cool. So a couple of thumbs up for it looks like going there will be a good idea. We're staying right near the pier. So if you guys have any other tips for us going there, I would love that. I'm trying to think. I took a couple of notes, and one of the things that I think we're definitely going to do when we get there, and I'm going to just bring it up the notes in my browser, is obviously, we're going to go to beaches. Shocker. It looks like the water there is incredibly clean, and that's going to be a really welcomed change because I was down in Pattaya recently for a conference, and I did a live stream from down there. But as you know, the water down there is pretty churned up, and it's not really clean by any means. Tidco Coffee and Cafe, TID Co. So Tid Island, I guess. and the Pari Hut Resort. Those are two places that I'm that are basically on my list of sort of places to hang out. And so I'm going to check those out, and with any luck, they will be entertaining. So that's going to be cool, because one of the things I wanted to do when we came over here, I made a point to be like, okay, I'm not just going to like sit indoors like I'm doing today, every day. You know, part of my life is definitely going to be inside here, you know, enjoying the condo, but nice beaches with a short scooter ride, and you can have it to yourself. Yeah, I'm guessing that's going to be some of our experience. My GoPro, which is not really a GoPro, it's an SJ4000. If you guys are, since you're probably from this part of the world, you're probably familiar with the SJ4000. Most of the folks that I know from the US, we know of GoPros. We don't really know of any sort of knockoffs. But the SJ4000, for literally, you know, 30% the cost, has been a fine, you know, device for me, and it only lasted, and it's lasted now over 2 years. But I haven't taken really good care of it, and I've like thrown it in my bag without a cover in it, and so the lens is a little scratched. But anyway, here, I'll show you. It's as you can see, it's also got a lot of gunk on it. But what I can do is I can actually plug this in. I can plug it into USB and use it as a secondary camera. What I want to do is I want to get one of those things where you like mount it on your head or you mount it on your sort of chest, because Gracie did a really neat thing when we were biking the other day. And she basically just put her phone like in her top, which is similar. I mean, I could put it in my shirt pocket and get like that thing and then drive around. So that would be kind of neat, because I do want to get some shots of us driving around the island. So but let me plug this in and let me see what happens when I do this. If there's any chance of me getting because if you don't know, it actually has a backlit screen, or not backlit, but it has a monitor on the back. But if I can plug this in, and then if I can add it in here as a secondary thing, then what would happen in theory is that I would be able to add this as a secondary camera. So need a memory card, super cheap GoPro from China. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the SJ Cam, not the SJ4000, but the SJ Cam, the SJ4000 is just simply one model. But one of the things that I like about it is it's really disposable. I mean, because let's face it, these things are really small. You put these in your pocket, you know, to damage it and be like, oh, my $400 GoPro just got busted, you know. But I will say, I was checking out the new GoPros. I was over at, where were we? We were at Big Camera. You guys have probably heard of that. We were over at Fortune Town. And so I was checking those out over there. And I mean, they're nice, but I mean, they're actually quite robust now, which is pretty cool. So I think what I've done is I've added this, and so I should probably be able to just add this as an additional layer here to my. I can. So yeah, so that's a view of the GoPro, and I so occasionally I'll put it out there on the railing so that you can see the pool, which is basically what was, you know, what we were looking at before. But in any case, you can see the cats, the stickers that are on the sliding glass door there. I guess the person that used to live here before was the niece of the woman that owns the place, and so she's like, well, do you want us to scrape those off? And I thought, well, I mean, they're kind of goofy, but I don't know. They're okay. I mean, they're not real creepy or anything. So anyway, and so that would be the view right there, actually, if I were to put it on the railing that you just saw. And so I'll switch back to this one. And then that way we can see the chat box, actually. That'll be up in there. And with any luck, the chat box will, as far as I know, it refreshes. So with any luck, I can just actually tell you what I'll do is I'll put the name of the island. I think that's right. Is it Koh Sriracha? No, it's Koh Sichang. So let me just put that in there. So during the replay, people can, hey, Joe, what's going on, man? Koh Sichang is the name of the island. And so with any luck, that way, if there are any people listening on the replay, and that's a drag. So I see this chat like basically goes away. So that's interesting. It's too bad that in the widget, that's a bummer. Get to the beach and show you the shells. That I guarantee you I will do that. That is a promise, Caesar. I will absolutely do that. One of the things that I really like to do, I don't know if you saw the video when Gracie and I were walking on the beach at Ao Manao, which is so funny. I almost said Schweppes Manao. But anyway, Ao Manao Beach, which is down south of, in basically near Prachuap Khiri when we were down there. And it's pretty much, effectively, it's on the base. And so you have to go through this Navy or air base to get to it. But very early in the morning here in the States, Joe, I can't remember where you are. Are you on the West Coast? Or are you on the East Coast? If it's early in the morning, you're probably on the East Coast. I assume it's 3:36 there, right? And not 12:36 like it would be in California. Otherwise, you probably would have said late at night, dude. Yeah, I hope you don't have some like chime or something on your phone and this guy woke you up. I hope. Oh, Missouri, right on. Yes, that's right. I remember we talked about that. Yeah, I don't know if I think I mentioned before that I lived in St. Louis for about 18 months and just amazing people. So anyway, and if Marty from up in Oregon hops on, then I want to apologize to him because Marty always bums out when I don't schedule these live broadcasts. So I didn't do that this time for sure. Because I'm like, I'm just going to try this one thing and then click. And then it went live. And I thought, okay, well, if it notified people, then there's a pretty good chance that I should just kind of do something. It's the main reason that I don't accidentally call my parents in the middle of the night, because if their phone rings once or twice, they're going to wake up. And then if I just hang up, it's like, now they're going to be laying there and they got to get back to sleep. So anyway, so yeah. And so anyway, so I'm now. So when we were down there, there weren't that many shells, but what I found very interesting is that like basically all night long, the crabs of such infinitely small size crawl down a little bit into the sand, and they would, they crawl down and they shove the sand up behind them, but they do it in like perfect round balls of sand. It was very interesting. So anyway, so yeah, so that's on my channel. So if you want to check out Gracie and I, our walk on Ao Manao Beach down there, when we were down in PKK, that was really interesting. And I hope the sound is okay. From the meters that I'm looking at, it doesn't sound like I'm over modulating. So anyway, so yeah, I get up when my phone rings. Yeah. So, I'm really sorry, Joe. I hope this didn't wake you up. But if it did, and you're awake and you're here and you've got any questions about Thailand, just let me know, because I'm here for you, man. I do need to get some new ear things for my Bose. That's kind of a drag. These have failed me. That's too bad. And I got these replacements, I think, on eBay. Of all the things that I miss from... good, thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. This is a new microphone that I got along with a stand and a USB mixer that I'm using, my Behringer, which if you watch the last few videos, basically the last few videos are simply me going to the store, buying that Behringer. and then I got some connectors that I needed that I actually didn't end up needing. Although if you can tell, if I do this, I believe you're going to get some hum. And because of that, I'm not using tip ring sleeve. I'm not using XLR in the connector, if you care. So you need some 1976 Lancer parts here in the kingdom. Whew. Good luck, man. I'll tell you, I really miss being able to pretty much just get on the internet and type in 1976 Lancer parts. And in San Diego, certainly, and in other parts of the country, but definitely in San Diego, it's just like, oh yeah, just drive down near Otay Mesa, 35 minutes away, and there is an unlimited amount of real estate filled with cars and cars and cars, junk cars. You could get a left front wheel silver lug nut for a 1976 Lancer in 35 minutes. It's amazing. They still have those deals where basically the entire field is filled with like old cars. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about, man. Like the ones that are near the freeway. He just says he's from Los Angeles. Huge junkyards there. Here we can go to two states. Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Illinois, man. I mean, and that was the thing too, because down in, basically all the way down south, meaning right at the border, Otay Mesa, California, the real estate is worth nothing. So they're just like, yeah, we got like 300 or 400 acres. Let's just put a whole bunch of old Chevys in there. And they would like stack them up, right? But you could go down there and you just walk in with your tools, and then you just like pull off parts and you bring them to the office, and then you weigh them. And he's like, you got about 300 pounds. You got that door. You got an alternator. That's going to be about $75. And you're like, okay. But yeah, pick your parts. Exactly. An alligator. Dude. Oh my God. Wow. That brings back some memories. So yeah, used cars for transportation. And it was fun though, dude. I mean, I bought this like 1986 convertible BMW for like $1,000 or something. Batteries cheap thrills. Absolutely, man. That was really fun, wasn't it? And I also bought a convertible Volkswagen, one of the cabriolet deals. And I mean, it's Southern California, right? It was a convertible. So I yanked out the air conditioning compressor. I yanked out the condenser and everything. So obviously it weighed less, but I had tons more room in there. Put a new grill on it. Oh, it was great, man. It was great fun. And it was cheap, man. I would put it up on ramps and change my own oil. And man, and then I grew up and I started buying Acuras, or I started leasing Acuras, which basically meant I rented a new car every 3 years. And after I bought my first Acura, the second, third, and fourth Acura, the second one I test drove around the block to be like, okay, I can fit in it. My head doesn't hit and my knees don't hit. I didn't even pop the hood. I didn't even look underneath. I just the car would notify me on the dash that I needed to bring it in every 7,500 miles because it was synthetic motor oil. And I would bring it in. So Joe says, brother, I'm planning my own LS for Sunday, a walk around a downtown Springfield, Missouri. Nice. Your own LS. I want to figure out what that stands for, but I can't, Joe, because I'm not part of the cool kids table. Yeah, I'm not really a Motorhead. I mean, I will tell you that I do have Motorhead's Another Perfect Day album in vinyl, original. Livestream, LS. Oh my God, dude, I am so uncool. Both of you knew that. Okay, thanks. I really appreciate it. Clearly, the cool kids table that you're. Thank you. I appreciate you yelling. Live stream, Mike. For God's sake, live stream. Cool. That's cool. I'm. Hold on. Am I not? Am I? Am I? Hold on. How do I get to your channel? Go to channel. Stand by. Let me make sure I'm subscribed. And let me click the bell. All right. Scissor Alien, I am subscribed, and I just clicked all. So when you go live, I will be notified. So that'll be really cool. And right now, just to let you know, I'm scrolling through your subscriptions, and I do not see my name there, and I am hurt. Oh, I'm crushed, Caesar. Duh. Live stream, duh. Anyway, cool. So that's cool, Joe. Joe, am I subscribed to you? Hold on. I hope I am. Dude, I haven't been to Springfield in, oh my God, so long. All right, Joe. I am oh, dude, I apologize. I thought I would. That's weird. Anyway, I'm 109, Joe. So there you go. Cool. And then, oh, you've only got the one video. That's cool. I got to watch that. Have you guys, if you guys know, I'm going to share a link to a guy who I basically found through this whole YouTube thing. And he's battling with a disease that I cannot pronounce. But he recently started a channel, and he's basically cataloging his pain, sadly, through what he's going through as far as the pain that he's having in his head. And oh my God, I want to get, come on, there's so many things here. I'm trying to find it. This is totally horrible. I want to make sure I get the name of his channel right, because it's bad enough that I didn't schedule this. And so he's probably Surviving TN. Cool. That's what it is. And TN, if you don't know, it stands for trigeminal neuralgia. And so anyway, so let me just share his channel here in the chat, because he's a really good guy. And that retirement joy stuff, absolutely. So there you go. That's really cool. Check his channel out, man. He's a really good guy. Old school CB radio. Okay, yes, I remember you now. Right on, man. That's totally cool. It's hard to remember exactly the sort of hobbies that all of you guys have, but yeah, he's and I think his Facebook is public. If not, I can definitely share that potentially. I know that Marty Johnson is his name, and so he's subscribed to my channel, and so, well, if his Facebook isn't public, then you won't be able to see it. So I'll just share his Facebook with you guys, and if you can't see it, then you can't see it. So. But yeah, so Marty Johnson, he's a really good guy, and so happy to support him, and definitely happy to support you too, Joe. So that's really cool. I'm stoked. Downtown Springfield, I think I've only been there once, maybe twice, because I was living in St. Louis. Clayton, if you know where that is where I was living and working, and then Richmond Heights, I had a house down there. Am I going to try and make money living in Thailand? No. You mean on YouTube, I assume. I mean, no, I mean, the way that I'm making my money right now is just to basically make my money, make me money, if you know what I mean. In other words, my investments. It just is really a lot easier that way. I mean, you know, I'm on a retirement visa, right? So I'm not going to go through the process of transitioning that into potentially a B visa, and then getting a company to sponsor me, and then getting a work permit on top of that. I'm definitely not going to start my own company just so I can get a work permit, just so I can get. I got some buddies that own companies, and I have consulted for them in the past when I was in the U.S. You know, but nah, I think as far as the whole, making a living, I'm just going to live off of my investments, because the ROI is a lot easier. Investments, car or bike builds, painting, whatever, self-employed creativity. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think that's it. I mean, I'll tell you right now that I feel really lucky at the time that I'm on YouTube now. And by that, I mean, if I was getting more serious about YouTube like 2 years ago, I don't think my ego could handle it. Because man, it seems like the trolls back then, even as recently as 1 year ago, were just intense. And for some reason, they hated all Thai vloggers, it seems. But I mean, again, the guys that like the Thai vloggers infinitely outnumber the guys that are, haters. But for some reason, they were just, man, they spend a lot of energy. And yeah, my monthly's pretty small too. And food can be expensive. I completely agree with it. You're building an antique Harley from parts you get here or from parts that you import, man. That must be a challenge. I honor you. They're still bad, the trolls. Yeah, Joe, have you experienced that on your channel? I'm sorry to hear that, man. I've gotten pretty good at sort of ignoring and blocking, because it's just like, okay, I'm not going to spend 5 seconds on this guy. If he doesn't like me, then I don't want you here, and don't be here. Your monthly will drop by 400 in 8 years. Oh, okay, cool. The cool part about Harleys, I will say over here, is you are like 1 in a million, man. See, I did old bikes before and am getting parts via the internet, eBay, and networking. Yeah. Let me ask you this, as far as the networking goes, are you finding any luck via networking with guys that like to restore Harleys over near Seacon Square, over near the, oh God, how do you pronounce that? Anyway, the night market that's over there, the old train market. Oh, your house will be paid off. Nice. That's cool. That's pretty awesome, dude. Shoot, if your current mortgage is only 400, that's amazing. Good for you. My mortgage for my houses that I owned over the course of 15 or so years, 20 years in San Diego was higher than that, as you might guess. But Rock Fi, what the heck is the name of that silly? Yeah, I went to a bike show over there. Yeah. So I've been over there a couple of times. I think it's Rock Fi Market. Is that how you pronounce it? I mean, I know Rock Fi is Thai for basically night market. Rot Fi, I apologize. ROTFAI is the, phonetic spelling. The Rot Fi train market over by Seacon Square. They had a debt payment for me from the sale of my house, not a current payment. Oh, I got it. Okay. Yeah. Knucklehead Harleys. Yeah. That's it's interesting over there to check that out. And it's funny because we were over there, like maybe 5 nights ago, because the food is pretty good actually, and because not a lot of people are going out in public places, depending upon the news. There weren't a lot of people over there. So we just took a grab over there from here. It was like 100, I almost said $100. It's 100 baht. All I have to do is build a house in the Philippines. The land is already paid off. Good for you, Joe. That's awesome. Whereabouts? I think you may or may not know that Gracie and I have a house in Hamandan. Well, Gracie has a house in Hamandan. I mean, it's legally hers, right? But it's ours. And but anyway, so over by Seacon Square, yeah, we were over there. The food was really, really good. But anyway, we were walking past. I mean, you could argue that, the number of guys restoring Harleys in Mindoro, nice. The number of guys restoring Harleys in Thailand is much less than the number of guys restoring cars, right? Especially if you don't know, because I think it was, 2 years ago when you can no longer import used cars? I think that's when it happened. Maybe it was only a year ago. But regardless, all of the guys that imported used cars, the value of those cars just went up because you can't get them anymore. If I had a Thai wife and I want an old teak house, yeah, I agree with you, dude. Those things are amazing, right? the teak houses. I mean, no, I'm sure Thai wife would be fine. I love Gracie instead, though, so I'm not going to switch it up anytime soon. Anyway, so we're over at Seacon Square, right? And we're going through the places where they have the old cars. I don't know. As far as I know, you can't import old cars into Thailand, but that was something that I was told. So yeah, Grace is Filipina. She and I met in Boracay. And anyway, so we're over there and we're walking through, where they have the antique cars or old cars, certainly, and there's these like Volkswagen buses. And I'm just like, okay, well, this just looks like Ocean Beach, it's like 10-minute drive from my house. So yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I do feel lucky. I am absolutely lucky. And she's pretty lucky too, goddammit. But no, so it was weird because the contrast between Thailand and the United States is obvious, right? I mean, but there are some thanks, but there are some things that that are just like, oh my God, I can't get that there. I mean, there's some things that are just so easy to get in the United States, because it's on Amazon.com, not the least of which is electronics. And because, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like I can't get electronics here, and I can certainly, get stuff on Lazada. I've tried that. But in fact, this microphone I got on Lazada, and it took like, I don't know, about a week to get here. And it came with the windscreen, and it came with the boom and a whole bunch of other stuff. So Filipina are better in many ways compared to other women. Well, I would agree with you on that. But and I'm sure so would Gracie. But you know what? So here's, what's funny about that? Is that I've told Thai, because the Thais, right, when you meet them here, and I find that this occurred in the Philippines too when I was there. They're like, oh, are you're single? Are you married? Do you have a girlfriend, right? And so over here, I learned how to say my girlfriend is Filipina, Philippine, right? I have a Philippine girlfriend, or asawa is the word for sort of that role in Tagalog. Yeah, I vote yes too. Yeah. But the funny thing is that when I would, in the Philippines, when they were like, I'd be in a mall, right? And one of the girls or something like that would be helping me, and I would be there like by myself. Gracie wouldn't be with me. They'd be like, oh, do you have a girlfriend or whatever? And I said, yeah, I have a Philippine girlfriend. She and I met in Boracay. They'd be like, oh, okay. And then they'd move on, right? And here, the Thais, they would be like, they would do a couple of things. One is that they would introduce me to their friend and say, oh, she's single. And I would be like, oh, congratulations. There's probably a painfully obvious reason why she's still, no, I'm kidding. But I'm like, oh yeah, no, I have a Philippine girlfriend. Or they would be like, do you have a girlfriend? I said, oh yeah, I have a girlfriend. And they'd be like, oh, is she Thai? Do you have a Thai girlfriend? I said, no, she's from the Philippines. They'd be like, oh, Philippines, very beautiful. And I was like, huh, that's interesting that you have that reaction about their entire race. I mean, I think Gracie's beautiful, but I mean, I don't know about every Filipina. But that's interesting, is that sort of their default. But you could argue that a lot of guys in America, if you were to go up to them and say, oh, I'm dating a Thai girl or I'm dating a Filipina, in their mind, they would probably default to, oh, I bet he's dating a really hot Filipina, right? Dating a really hot young Thai, right? I guess that's sort of the stereotype, but which is not horrible. I mean, trust me, it's better than saying, oh yeah, I'm dating this Russian girl. It's like, I bet he's dating a girl with underarm hair. No judgment, but in any case, yeah, I love my Filipina. So anyway, the difficulty for me sometimes over here, actually, it's not a difficulty, it's just a change. And one could argue it's a change for the better. He's dating a very young girl. Yeah, exactly, right? They'll think that. And they probably assume she's thin too, which I'm totally cool with, because she is. She weighs 1/2 what I do. She weighs 40 kilos. And she's in the other room. I'm sure she's listening. Maybe she's watching the stream. Maybe she's one of the 3 people watching me. Woo. hopefully I'll get some more on the replay. But I was on, so I was trying to get like my live streams to go pretty good, and I think this one's going pretty good. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of jitter. It sounds like it looks like the sound is decent. It's on YouTube, which means they're going to be caching it, and I'm going to be able to replay it, re-download it, and reshare it with YouTube, which is good. And I found this piece of software that I can run in Chrome. I'm using this in Chrome, so I'm using this on my Chromebook, which was a free computer because I'm really trying to, not buy a ton of stuff. Because I don't know about you guys, but my default setting when I was in the US is, you know what, I need a solution to this. Well, I better just go buy something, right? And then $1,000 later, I've got a solution, but I also have $1,000 less in my pocket, right? It's kind of like, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I used to go to Costco back home, if I could get out of Costco with spending less than $300, I somehow saw that as a triumph. And I'm going, what the hell? And now I go to IKEA here and I'm like, ooh, 1,000 baht. I don't know. That's a big day. I don't know. That's a lot I'm buying, but I kind of like it. It's spending less. But to that point, I was on Banana or Nana, I guess. I don't know how you pronounce it because if you look at their logo, it's Ba and then Nana is so Banana, the Banana electronics store. I just about bought a laptop. And the good news is the exchange rate is pretty decent, right? So it was going to be, it's like 27,500 baht. So it was going to be about $840. Excuse me, I think. The one thing I will say I love about Tamasak. Remind me what that means. Tamask? Tamsak? I'm trying to, I know that's Tagalog, dude, and I'm totally blowing it. Damn it. Sorry, Joe. Gracie would be pretty bummed that I got that wrong. And if her daughter was listening right now, she'd be like, Tito Mike, you're so stupid. No, she would never say that, but she might roll her eyes. And anyway, the fact that, I'm spending less over here is my point. So the cool part is that I'm like, okay, I'm going to use what I got. I mean, let me just show you what I got going on right now in front of me. I have this laptop and then I have my little mixer and then I got my other laptop over there, which actually I could give back to Gracie because she was watching a movie. But if I go over here and then update the stream, you guys can see how I am, I got this going on. So I got basically the laptop here. And then if I just sort of angle over, then you can see all that's going on. I got laptop and, or I got a laptop right there, which I'm streaming on, which is my Chromebook. And then I got my, my little Asus over there. It was about $140, $150. And, so yeah, so I mean, it's pretty good. And then I got my cool little mixer, which effectively all it does really is convert the microphone from analog to output of USB, and then it goes into the laptop here as a USB input. Well, it goes on the other side actually because the camera's right here. But in any case, and we're back to the cats. But anyway, so. And the bummer there is that now that it brings up the chat is that if I do that, it does not refresh the chat. I got to figure out a way to do that. I got to figure out a way to refresh that. I mean, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you see that. But unfortunately, what I think doesn't happen is that the chat doesn't refresh there. So I don't know why that is. I got to figure that out. Because I'm using this solution called Streamlabs. If you guys know anything about streaming, then you probably have heard of OBS, the Open Broadcast Studio. And then Streamlabs is sort of the paid version on top of that, right? Anyway, this widget doesn't come up in Chrome, so I can't totally figure out how to refresh that. But anyway, so so that's what I got going on now. And the cool thing about it is that is it saves me a lot of money. The mixer just cost me, let's see, it cost me about $80 and or about 70. And had I got it online with Amazon and used Prime, then it would have been a lot less. But so anyway, but I don't know how to necessarily get the chat box, the Streamlabs chat box to refresh like that. But who knows? Maybe I'll figure that out. Anyway, from StreamYard. Yes. Yeah, so that's cool. Let me see. Yard. Let me check those guys out. I believe I got an account with those guys. Stream to Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so here's the short answer. To stream to Facebook, it's very easy. I have a StreamYard account. And in fact, I'll tell you what, let me see if I can do this, Joe. Let me go over here, and instead of doing that, what I will do is I will replace it with this, and we will look together. How's that? And yeah, so there we go. So send a live. So basically what you can probably see within StreamYard, sorry, there you go, is that I have a test lived my ass off. And so basically you would simply create a broadcast and you would broadcast to one of your pages, or you add a new destination, which is either Periscope, YouTube, Twitch, or RTMP. Now, RTMP is basically a server, the generic server, and you can use Restream for that. The only solution I know of that allows you to restream or to stream directly to Instagram is, and let me just make sure that I'm still, okay, so let me go over here and let me make sure I go to this, is Lula. Let me make sure that it's bringing it up, and yeah. So it'll take a few seconds here to refresh. I apologize for that. But basically is Lula. So LOOLA.tv. And as you can see, what did it allow me to do? And one of the options here is to stream to Instagram. You can, is it getting the whole screen? Yeah, it is. So you can also see here on the left, oops. So you could, and you would you need to download the Chrome extension, which is really easy. The Chrome extension for Lula, and then you just install that. In fact, I'll just show you right now. It's very easy. Although, I don't know if it'll bring up this, because I think it's bringing up the previous tab. So apologies. Anyway, you download the Chrome extension, and then it allows you to stream in Instagram. But you can also see over here on the left how you can stream to YouTube. And when it says stream to Twitter, it also means you can stream to Periscope. But what this doesn't allow you to do is it allow you to stream to Instagram, but it won't allow you to stream to Facebook. If you pay them money, then you can get a custom RTMP solution and then use that. But at the end of the day, this is the only solution that I know out of the box that will allow you to stream to Instagram. What I also use is Restream. Restream is pretty sweet because basically if you point like OBS to Restream, then you can, I'll turn all these on and I'll show you what it looks like. Then you can stream to Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, Twitch, VK, which is basically, sorry, refresh. Everything but Instagram, Joe. So, depending upon the age of your users, you can definitely, if you're just using StreamYard, then no worries. You can have, so this is VK. So if you're curious why I'm streaming to VK, VK is basically it looks quite similar, right? It's basically the Facebook of Russia. So that's why I have. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna have to put it in here, but so Twitch, VK, D Live, which is basically streaming on the blockchain, custom RTMP because I have my own RTMP server, and then Mixer, which is basically streaming live on the guys that use Xbox primarily for gaming, so you can stream there. So that's the reason that I use Restream. But if you care what VK is, VK, as you'll see here, it looks surprisingly like Facebook because it is the Facebook of Russia. So that gives you the opportunity to stream there and have folks watch you there. So pretty much it's either you're streaming to a bunch of options, or you can bounce around if you want. I mean, I have a paid subscription to Restream. I don't have a paid subscription to Lula, and I will absolutely be transparent and tell you why. I believe Lula, the only way that they're getting it so you can stream live on TikTok and stream live on Instagram is because they are breaking the terms of service of Instagram and TikTok, meaning that you, as your account, is breaking the terms of service. By streaming on those platforms outside of the app. And apparently those apps only want you to stream on their app and no other apps. So I'm not quite sure if that's 100% true, but that's what I've read. And because of that, to get a paid subscription on Lula, there is nowhere on the Lula screen in the Lula website where it shows you how to cancel. So I'm less than excited to give them my credit card information. So anyway, that's my reasoning for not using it. But to be fair, the solution that you mentioned, Joe, StreamYard, they seem to be pretty reputable. And so if you absolutely want to do StreamYard for that solution, then what you could do is you could is in StreamYard, you could pay them, and you could add a RTMP server, a custom destination, and you could upgrade. Then you could go over to what is it called? I believe it's called Stream Duck. Is that right? No, Yellow Duck. Yellowduck.tv. And you download an app basically to your Windows or your Mac machine. And what that allows you to do is log in with one of these applications to Instagram. Instagram will then immediately give you your RTSP credentials. You then take those RTSP credentials and you put it in somewhere like your Restream account. So then you are instead of, you're doing Facebook, you're doing Periscope, whatever. And then in your custom RTMP, then instead of you basically putting in, you would edit settings, and then instead of this being, like RTMP. The big I, for example, for mine, it would be RTMP : / I believe it's INSTRAN, which is basically their RTMP ingest servers. Oh boy, was that a long explanation. So anyway, buddy, I hope that adds value, and I hope that will I hope that will help you have some fun streaming to Instagram. One word of caution: if you're streaming to Instagram, do not open up your own Instagram on your app on your phone. Create a additional Instagram account like Joe's Test, literally, and then log into that on your phone, and then make that the only Instagram account that you're following, your Joe Lone account, so you can see when Joe is streaming. It's very similar to the way that you would sort of stream and test streaming in Joe, look me up on Facebook, please. I will absolutely do that right now. Very similar to the way that you would watch your Twitch stream and sort of verify your Twitch stream. Let me just go over and remove one of these things because I'm no longer using it and I don't want to take up a CPU. How's that? And then we'll make sure that this is live, and it is. But let me go over to your Facebook, Joe, and I will absolutely add you. I assume all I got to do is type in JOELOA, and you show up, right? Or do I just type in Cool Kids Table? Bum. And then I find you. Well, there's a few of you. Let me make sure I spelled it right. Loane. Yeah, Loane. So there's spell. Hold on. Is this you? Let's see. What's your Facebook look like, Joe? I'm not quite sure this is you because I can't, from the picture that I see here on YouTube, I can't tell whether it's this one. Is this your Facebook right here? I'll put it in the chat. Let me know if that's you. If not, then just let me know. But yeah, that'd be awesome, dude. I see a couple of guys from Pennsylvania. But yeah. So anyway, so cool. That'd be great, Joe. I'd love to hang out on, love to be able to chat on Facebook. I have a Facebook that it's fairly public, but for the most part, it's kind of hard to find me. And that's by design. Awesome. Friending you right now, Joe. Boom. There you go. There we go. So cool. Yeah, let's definitely stay in touch, man. And hey, Joe, when's the next time you're coming over here? I'm sure you probably already told me, and I forgot because I've slept since then. I suffer from can't remember shit. No, I'm just kidding. One of my buddies says that. He goes, yeah, I suffer from KRS or CRS. Can't remember stuff, whatever. But anyway, confirmed. Love it. Awesome. Yeah. So let me know when you're coming over here next, man. That'd be like totally cool. Copyright claim has been made on one of my YouTube deals. Oh, I know why. Yeah, because I was doing a whole bunch of testing and I was playing my internet radio station. And so there's a whole bunch of copyright claims I got. Even though they were private streams, they still give me a copyright claim. That's amazing to me, but whatever. Doesn't really mean anything. No big deal. So now for a while, bummer, man. Okay. Well, you are on the East Coast-ish. The only East Coast-ish I will be is basically sometime in probably late July, August, or very early, probably like late July and August. I will be in the Boston area. From the Boston area, I will be there the majority of the time. I will be then heading down to, Midwest. I will be heading down to Florida. So I doubt that my travels will take me through that. However, I will tell you that if the price of flying is anything like the current price of flying when I get back, then me flying over to St. Louis for us to have what's referred to as the $100 hamburger. I don't know if you know anyone who's a private pilot, but these guys always call it the $100 hamburger when they just get in their plane and they fly somewhere basically to have lunch because the fuel costs. And in fact, that's way low. It's more like a $300 hamburger, even if you're in a little Cessna 172. But the point is, yeah, maybe I'll fly over to St. Louis for a $100 hamburger. Although Springfield probably would be more expensive. It'd probably be more expensive for me to fly there. It would be really inexpensive for me to fly is into Tennessee, but that's a hike for you. So I get it. Anyway, hey, who knows? As long as we can hang out here, dude, and I can check out your stream, your LS, your LS, then we're cool. So, all right. Well, I think, how long have we been going here, guys? Hold on. Yeah, so we've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. I'm really psyched. Yeah, $4,000 burger. Although, dude, if I were to fly from Boston over to where you are, and then from there down to Florida, because I probably will end up going to Florida. I really need to figure out a way to make Florida more of a permanent home in the U.S. Because at the end of the day, this is my permanent home, right? This is my permanent home here. In Bangkok here with the silly cats here in Bangkok. But if I have to have a place to be in the U.S. and if I ever move back to the United States and stay there permanently, if Gracie and I ever do that, it will be to the Gulf Coast of Florida, or potentially up even along the Gulf, maybe like Alabama or Louisiana, simply because of the cost of living if we were to live there. If we were to make a residence there, but not really live there a lot, but basically be like, okay, that's my address. And if I have any degree of residence, then it's going to be Florida because of the tax implications. I mean, I love the United States. I love the infrastructure in the United States. And I have never bitched about paying my taxes in the United States when I live there. But the fact that I'm living outside of the United States for such a significant amount of time, they already have something in place called, if you don't know, FEIE, which is basically the federal foreign earned income exclusion, which basically means they're like, look, if you're outside of the United States for such a significant amount of time and you are generating your revenue from a foreign entity, then, we don't expect you to pay taxes on the majority of it, or at least the first $106,000 or $212,000 if you're a married couple. But, I will use the infrastructure when I'm home. Let's face it, so I'm definitely still going to pay Social Security. I'm still going to pay Medicare taxes. So, I'm cool with that. But to the point of Florida, to have to pay state taxes, I'm definitely not going to pay California state taxes. That's ridiculous. I haven't lived in California since November. If I've lived anywhere in the United States, I've lived in Massachusetts. And, the taxes there are less. They're still not zero. But, I got to figure out a way to pay zero taxes or less taxes. Again, I don't mind paying taxes for things I'm using. So I'm definitely going to pay Medicare because I definitely want to take advantage of Medicare when I'm older, when I have to. And I'm definitely going to take advantage of Social Security. So, or Social Security insurance, if heaven forbid I have to, make a claim between now and the time when I'm 62 and a half or whatever. But in any case, so I may, who knows, it may be a $400 hamburger. Be careful. The border is closing to Asia. Yeah, I know. I mean, thank God I'm not in China. Otherwise I would have probably gotten the hell out of China. If for no other reason than they probably would have not made me, but they would have been really encouraging me too, because as far as I know, they had, some degree of news around this is the last flight out of American citizens, or we made sure they were all home, or, I don't know. So I think that the United States, thank you, made it, very they were accommodating to get the citizens out when they needed to. So that was cool. But yeah, I mean, for right now, I think Gracie and I are pretty much going to travel within Asia. The good news for me is that right now we're planning on going back to the Philippines in May. Because Gracie can only stay here 60 days. So she absolutely has to leave. And because of that, I was going to go with her because I want to go home and I want to see Euryce, who's her daughter, and I want to spend some really good time with her. And we want to go to the Camotes Islands. If you guys don't know where that is, it's basically some islands right off of Cebu, off Cebu City, off the island of Cebu. But yes, you take a ferry from Cebu City. And so we're going to go to those on vacation. But obviously, there's going to be some consideration to, okay, that's one thing if I want to do that, but I mean, I wouldn't mind being in the Philippines for, 2, 3, 4 weeks or so. And of course, I could figure out a way to get a visa to live in the Philippines if I had to. However, I have a 1-year lease on a condo here in Thailand, and my home is in Thailand. So I don't necessarily want to, forfeit that. Joe says, for right now, I can't bring my Filipino to the States since they are closing the border. Interesting. I did not realize that. Let me know, Joe, where you're getting the most up-to-date information about that, about where they're... when you say closing the border, Joe, do you mean that closing the border of the Philippines to allow Filipinos to exit? Or do you mean closing the border of the U.S. to anyone who's not a U.S. citizen? Or do you mean closing the border of the U.S. to anybody, even U.S. citizens, if they're coming from Asia? Because I know this will blow over. So it's not like coming from Asia. It's not like I'm not going to be able to come to the United States one day. But this has been the first year that I've lived in Asia, solely in Asia. And while I still check in with my parents with the same basically degree of frequency that I did when I was living in California, meaning I talked to them once a week, I'm still on the other side of the world. And so I promised my parents that I would go see them in the summer, as I normally do. But, the plan is to fly from Bangkok to Boston. So, Joe, if you have any URLs, if you have any websites that you're paying attention to, then it would be awesome if you would share that actually in the chat window for everybody else, but selfishly for me too. From what I've heard, they are closing the border to anyone coming from Asia. I could be wrong. Okay. And I get it. That's fair. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, I can't remember when it was, but yeah, when I was, when you would give blood, I used to give blood. And when I would give blood, they would say, hey, and have you been to China lately? Or have you been to Mexico lately? Or have you been to Africa? Actually, they used to ask you, have you been to Africa? Gracie could come online. Gracie could come over and be part of the live broadcast. She just gave me a face. So anyway, maybe next time. But yeah, I've heard some talk about that too, Joe. And I don't know, I mean, if they all of a sudden say, hey, we're going to close the border, I don't know if I'll grab my bags and immediately fly back to Boston just so I can get into the United States. Because, I mean, here's my reasoning behind that. If I get sick and I get sick here in Thailand, literally the world's best medical care is I can walk to a hospital. I can take a BTS down to Ekamai and I can go to Sukhumvit Hospital that is arguably in the top 10 best hospitals in Thailand for sure. Or I can take the BTS down to Nana Plaza and my insurance that I have here for Thailand covers me at Bhumengrad. And I can just walk into Bhumengrad and say, Okay, here's my insurance card. Fix me. Here's my 2,000 baht copay. Actually, what's my copay? I think it's like 10,000 baht. Whatever. Regardless, I think it's pretty low. I think I overpaid, arguably. People said, oh, you paid too much. You should have gotten a 20. I know it's not a $20,000 copay. They're like, you should have got. Anyway, so I pay my copay. Fix me. So no matter what it costs, and I've got like 3 million baht worth of coverage. Gracie's still here within her first 30 days. And she's got like $250,000 worth of coverage. I mean, it's ridiculous. She's got like 5 million baht. She got more coverage than I do through Bupa out of the UK or out of Europe. Actually, I shouldn't say that. They're not out of the UK any longer because of Brexit. So they're managed out of, I believe, Belgium. So regardless, it's a ton of insurance, and she could just kick the door into Blumengrad and be like, all right, fix me. She's got zero copay. She's got zero deductible. It fixes everything. So, yeah, so I'm not worried about that. And I certainly don't think that I'm going to be unable to go see my parents for such a significant amount of time where it's like, oh boy, better get back to the US now. Otherwise I won't. Come on. There's no way. I mean, they're going to figure this out. You know, I'm not worried about it. So anyway, I'm sorry, Joe, that you can't bring your Filipina back because Gracie and I are acutely aware of what it takes to get a U.S. visa. It's not impossible. It takes time, effort, and money. So I'm sure if you went through that, then, you know, you'd like to use it because I know that being like, okay, well, I'm going to be here in San Diego working, honey. Why don't you just fly over to San Diego where it'll be a pain in the neck to get through immigration versus let me fly you into Los Angeles and they'll welcome you and say, oh, how cool is it that you have a visa that you got in the U.S. Embassy in Bangkok where they treated you with dignity and respect. Manila. It's all right. She got it anyway, and it's good for 10 years. And so we're excited we could travel to a lot of places. So anyway, with that, I see there are 4 of you, and I genuinely appreciate you guys hopping on. I know that it's 4:30 back east, which as far as I know means it's 3:30, Joe. So you need to get some sleep. My buddies that if you're watching from the West Coast, it's 1:30 in the morning. So Missy, if you're watching and you're watching on Facebook, then go to bed, dude, because your daughter is going to be like, Ma, what the heck? Hey, Joe accepted my friend request. Thank you, Joe. I see you there on Facebook. Totally awesome. Psyched for us to keep in touch. And absolutely, we will do so in the future. So anyways, Mike's from livemyassoff.com saying, I hope you enjoyed this live stream from Lightstream. Go lightstream.com. Follow me on livemyassoff.com. Please like, please share, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/livemyassoff. And until next time, hope you live in the dream. Because if you're not living the dream,